Life begins with a spark, and not a figurative spark, but a literal flash of light. Hi everyone, my name is Angelica Park. I am 18 years old and a freshman at Baylor University. I am studying biology and on the pre-med track. And two things you should know about me before we get started is that I am a total nerd. I love everything and anything to do with science and medicine. But I'm also a God-fearing, God-loving Christian Catholic. And so when most people hear that I'm pro-life and a woman of faith, they assume that that's the only reason why I'm pro-life. That's my favorite. But before I get into the science of being pro-life, first let me tell you what it has been like for me to be pro-life. In high school was not very fun. Easily I can say, one of the most humiliating moments of my life happened in high school because I was pro-life in high school. I ran for my senior class presidency and lost. I posted a video of Dr. Anthony Levantino, who is an ex-abortionist doctor, but is now very pro-life and speaks about the movement and how brutal it is for women going in to get an abortion and what it's truly like for the child. And so I posted a video of him talking about the procedure of abortion, the one where he's in the courtroom if you want to look it up. And my classmates, my friends, my peers, went into my Instagram and commented on the post and said stuff like, "Shut up, we don't want to hear your opinion. Who do you think you are to talk about stuff like this? Nobody asked you." And then it got better. They screenshotted my post and wrote #NotMyPresident, and they sent it around the school on Snapchat. And they posted videos of entire classrooms scratching out my name on the ballot and writing in a football player's name, because the football players all coordinated this. And I lost in sheer humiliation. But it's funny how God does things. Because it's funny how he separated the Simons who help carry your cross and share that burden with you from the Judases who will sell you out just for a little bit of fame, a little bit of money, a little spotlight. But don't worry, because God sees everything. And just a few months later, after all of that, I was speaking at the March for Life youth rally in Washington, D.C. alongside Abby Johnson. And then the next morning, I sang the national anthem at the March for Life in Washington, D.C. with over 1 million people in attendance, broadcasted globally just before the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, took the stage, making history as the first ever president to ever come to a March for Life. Wow. And I thought I was alone and that God didn't see what I was doing for him. I was wrong. So if you're watching this, and if you've ever felt humiliated, shamed, bullied for being pro-life, for speaking truth and doing what's right, do not stop. Do not quit, because you're not wrong. God is on our side. But not only God, science. There is life at the moment of conception. And I can prove it to you in just 2 ways. First, your DNA never changes. So at the moment of conception, there, of course, is the sperm and the egg. And when they meet and create that zygote, that first cell of life, at the same time, your DNA is created, which is uniquely for you and can never be repeated. But your DNA is created, and it has what you're going to look like when you're older, how tall you're going to be, what color hair you're going to have, what color eyes you're going to have, your blood type. It has every single instruction your body needs to build you. And it doesn't change, not from cell to cell, not from birthday to birthday. Your DNA never changes. Your instructions, your blueprint never changes. So the only difference between you now, sitting here and watching this, and you as a zygote is time. That's it. Now 2, if I really actually even need a 2, but here's a 2. 2. At that moment of conception, it takes so much power and energy to create you that there is a literal flash of light. And if you don't believe me, good. Google it. Google the flash of light at the moment of conception, and you can see actual footage of a flash. And what I think is so cool, that truly ties everything all together, is that we kind of already know, right, how the universe is created. Well, not really, but we have a theory that atheists have so conveniently stolen from us, but actually a Catholic priest and scientist is the one that created it. I'm going to slaughter his name, but his name is Father Georges Lamatière. He created the Big Bang Theory. And what he said is that it would have taken so much energy and power to create the infinite universe that God would have done it with a flash of light. So when we look up at the stars and the galaxies and we think, wow, whew. And we look down at the earth and we see all the waves and the oceans and the mountains and the skies sunsetting, and we think, wow. And you feel a little small. But you can look in the mirror and go, wow. Because you were created with the same flash of light. That's awesome. And what's even cooler for all the little scientists and nerds like me is that doctors that deal with in vitro fertilization, which is artificial insemination of a woman, where they actually take the sperm and the egg and they recreate that moment of conception in a dish, in a little petri dish. So then they can build a human or have a human in the petri dish, and then they put it in the woman and she becomes pregnant. Well, they're using the flash of light to determine which embryos are viable. They're using the flash of light to determine it's a human being. That's really cool. So, we're not going to fight for life, though, right? We're not going to protect life. In 2020, there was a lot about human rights. And what a lot of people either missed or denied in the human rights argument is, how are we supposed to effectively defend human rights when we can't even establish where human rights begin? How are we supposed to protect innocent human life when we can't even agree where innocent human life begins? Did you know that in New York, there are more African American children being aborted than born? That's horrible. And as a future doctor, and as a pro-lifer, I couldn't accept that. I had to hear the numbers. You had to prove it to me. So I went and looked it up. I went to the New York State Department of Health online, and I looked at their numbers. In 2016, 59,854 African American children were murdered by abortion in New York. And only 25,372 African American children were born. That is less than half the number of African American children aborted. That is heartbreaking. That's unacceptable. But we know where human rights begin. Pro-lifers understand where human rights begin because we know where life begins. In the womb, at the moment of conception. And I just proved it to you. Well, honestly, I didn't prove it to you. God did. So, what more sign do we need? What more signs do we need? I don't want to be in a generation like the generation Jesus spoke about when he spoke to the Pharisees. He said in Mark 8:12, "Truly I say to you, no sign shall be given to this generation." And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go pick up that Bible that has a little bit of dust on it. But when he said that, he didn't say it because he wasn't going to give a sign. No, he said that to the Pharisees because they couldn't see the signs. And if he was here now and he was talking to us now, he would say, I've shown you an image of me with the ultrasound. I have let you feel me with a kick in the womb. I have come to you as a light at the moment of conception. The conception of something so perfect and so powerful, life-changing actually. The conception of something that is so rare and unique and irrepeatable that it's actually impossible it exists. But you still want proof that there's life? You still want a sign? Huh. Well, you won't get one. We must open our eyes. We must be the generation that sees. We have to, brothers and sisters, for our family. Because 60 million brothers and sisters have been murdered from abortion. And they will never get to take their first breath. Did you know every 30 seconds a child loses his life or her life to abortion in the United States? And I've been timing my speech, and it's at 16 minutes and 30 seconds, just around there. So just during the time I've been talking to you, 33 children have lost their lives to abortion. We have got to do something about this. We can't wait for a sign. He's already given us one. 33, actually. So now, go. Go talk about it. Go post about it. Better yet, go pray about it. Go start a club about it. Go do something about abortion. Go fight for life. But we have to remember that we don't fight with anger or hate or condemnation, no matter how hard people make it for us. We must do everything with love. Because pro-life is pro-love. We're so passionate for being pro-life because we love and respect humanity. We love and respect that child, that mother, that father. So let us end abortion like Christ would. Let our generation be the generation that sees. Let our generation be the generation that finally ends abortion. Wouldn't that be amazing? Let our generation speak just truth. God bless you, and God bless the unborn. Let's go do this.